Hey guys, my name is Joey Thomas, entrepreneur and small business educator here with 17 Hats. And today I'm excited to have with me the one and only Meredith Ryncarz, who is an amazing photographer, wedding photographer, and portrait photographer as well, correct?
Correct.
All of the above. So welcome, Meredith.
Thanks for having me here, Joey.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is exciting. So Meredith, I see you kind of everywhere right now. I see you, teaching and doing workshops and connecting with different brands. And, it's pretty cool to see what you're doing and not just what you're doing, but how well you're doing it and keeping organized with everything as well. Because there's a lot of stuff. Would you say there's a lot of stuff on your plate at once?
There's a lot on my plate right now. Yes.
Awesome. So where are you located, Meredith?
So right now we're located in Savannah, Georgia, but business takes us everywhere around the United States.
Oh, really? Tell me one of the most interesting places that you've gotten to travel to with business.
I really love Cashiers, North Carolina. I love the kind of towards Asheville mountain area. We're excited to get to go back there again in November.
Awesome.
And are up there pretty frequently.
I have not had the privilege of traveling out there, and it's a shame because I hear they make good furniture out there too. Is that right?
They do.
All right. I'm in house shopping mode. I'm moving, and I had North Carolina on my mind. Well, thank you once again for coming. So tell us a little bit about what it is you do and about your background and how you came to this place in your career.
Sure. I had never planned to be a business owner at all. I went to school to be an art teacher and very quickly learned that it is not easy to move a lot as an art teacher. You aren't certified in the state you go to, and then it takes way too long to get certified. And by the time you do, you're probably moving again. And a random series of paths led me down to taking that art knowledge and turning it into a photography business. And 13 years later, here we are.
Oh, that's awesome. So you were an art teacher. Were you teaching at what level were you teaching at?
I've taught at several different levels. I've taught preschool, which is very much like teaching college. Also done that. Very similar.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's fantastic. There was a point where I did want to be a professor in college. My background's in psychology, and once I explored the different routes, it was really, I think if I stayed down that road, I definitely would have wet my feet in it a little bit. I love teaching as well as you do.
Yeah.
So you're a photographer, and how many years have you been doing that now?
I have been doing photography for 13 years officially, and weddings for about 6 now.
6 years. What were you shooting before weddings?
Before weddings, it was all families, seniors. I tried to shoot newborns. I very quickly learned that is not my skill set.
Same here.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I did one newborn, and I was cute with it too. I put the baby in like a drawer, and then it was a chef's baby, and I put the baby in like the chef's hat. I thought I was great until the baby pooped everywhere and peed everywhere, and I was like, you know what, I'm done.
Yep, pretty much. Pretty much.
It was not for me, right? And so fantastic. So some would say to go from families to shooting weddings, it takes a special kind of person to want to shoot weddings. Tell me what appealed to you in the world of wedding photography.
Initially, it didn't. I don't share that a lot, but when I first started photography and I really enjoyed it, my husband at the time had said, maybe we look at this wedding thing. And I was like, I'd rather stick hot pins in my eyes than ever become a wedding photographer. The universe has a sense of humor and really loves irony. And we had a couple that he worked with, and they lost their wedding photographer. And so I stepped in, enjoyed it. About 2 years later, the same thing happened again. Another coworker lost their wedding photographer. And I stepped in again, and it's kind of been all uphill since then.
Wow. Okay. And did it take a while for you to start loving it? I know you love it. I've seen your work. Okay.
Yeah.
There's no way you can produce what you produce without loving it. I truly believe that. And you do beautiful work, by the way.
Well, thank you.
And before I forget, where can people find your work?
Yeah. So it's just meredithryncarz.com. There's going to be a big facelift coming next month to the website. So I'm excited about that.
Well, looks great as it is. What are you going to do?
Oh, well, so for the last couple of years, my female side of the team has stepped back into boudoir. I did my master's thesis in boudoir photography.
Really?
15 plus years ago, and had just not had the time or the space to do it. And so that needs its home on the website. So it's getting added back in. And I'm excited about that.
Oh, fantastic. Well, that sounds exciting. Well, tell me now, I know a little bit about your background, and one of the things that intrigues me the most is the amount of times you've moved from place to place. How many times have you moved in, well, let's say your whole life? How many times have you moved?
Oh, that's even more. Whole life is whole. I've lost count. Yeah. It would take a while. I know it's upwards of 12 to 13 moves total, and multiple states from Georgia all the way over to Alaska and back again.
Wow.
So we've been a lot of places.
That's great. And so while you had your photography business, how many times have you had to move?
I think 9 at this point. Some of them were small moves. Some of them were from Texas all the way to Virginia, so halfway across the country. Yeah. We're hoping that will be a thing of the past soon. We're almost at 20 years for that. So
okay. So I will say you've rolled with the moves like a champ. Now, one of the, the challenges I hear quite a bit in the photography world is just how difficult it is just to market in a new city. Sometimes it's daunting. It feels impossible. Right. And first of all, what gave you the confidence to be able to move to a different city and think that you could just pick up where you left off? I mean, I would say that's not a normal thing. So tell me your thought process behind that.
It really didn't click in. Honestly, marketing to families and seniors is a lot easier when you live on a military base. That's why we move. And you have an active group of people that want pictures. It is a lot easier. Moving into weddings, it is a lot harder. And the first move that I had as a wedding photographer, I sat down with someone that has been in the wedding industry for years and said, look, how do I do this? And instead of like the approach of here's how you do it, here's step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It was, you know what? You should go work for someone else. You're not going to make it as a wedding photographer. You really would do better to be a second shooter. And that is probably the fuel that I needed, because if you tell me I can't, I'm going to go, oh, really?
Yeah.
Watch me.
Yeah.
And then maybe that's not healthy, but that's how I took it.
I think you need a little bit of that. If you're running a business, you need something to stoke that fire, right?
Yeah.
And so once, you got that motivation.
Yep.
And you have moved, you said 9 times as a photographer?
Yeah.
Now, talk to me. We know that marketing is one of the key factors in any business, right?
Yeah.
No matter who's listening to this video, most of the people that are listening are solopreneurs who are doing a business on their own. And that's what we want to highlight. And that's why we're talking to you as well. The fact that you built this on your own, right? And you do work with a team at this point.
I do have a team.
Correct. But you kind of wear all the hats.
No, I mean, I have software that does a lot of the wearing of the
Right.
hats.
Right. I know. And thank goodness for that.
Yes.
And so marketing is such a big thing. And I do want to talk to you a little bit more about that. Okay.
Yeah.
When you moved, and you don't have to go through the whole thing. I'm sure there's a whole process behind it, but what were some of the key factors in helping you establish your business quickly in a new city?
I would say the first thing that really helps is SEO. That's whether your target client is the wedding planner, the wedding venue, or the actual client themselves, you have to be found. And still to this day, even though that kind of buying process has changed for us, that purchasing process for our clients has changed, SEO is still king.
Yeah. And SEO, for those who are new to the term, is search engine optimization.
Yes.
And so that's just how people find you on Google or on Yahoo, if anybody's still using Yahoo. And it's just how people find you online, your website, your blogs, things like that.
Yeah, exactly. I would say secondarily is that you have to network and you have to hustle harder in the first 6 months of getting to a new area than any other time. If you've been in business for multiple years and this is the first move that you're making, then at that point you have to go back and remember, what did I do in the first beginning phases of my business that now can be applied to this new location, this new area that we're going to?
That's such a good point. I think a lot of us forget that we did start this from scratch at some point, and it can be done again, except now we're more experienced, right? And we do have more confidence in the work that we do. So it should, in theory, feel easier.
Yeah. I think the last key, major thing I would say, in between all of the small minor things that have to be done, is that you have to check your ego at the door. You may be the best business owner in that local market and they may come to you all the time. But when you move that business to a new market, they don't know you. And a lot of times they assume that you're a brand new baby business owner.
Yes.
And they're going to treat you that way. And you have to kind of check your ego and check your dude, and leave it at the door.
Absolutely. So I was going through your website, right? Just creeping all, through the whole website, right? And I saw something that was really intriguing and very cool. And it was on I believe it was on either your experience page or your About Me page. And it was about some of the places you've been published.
Yeah.
And I saw Forbes, Southern Living magazine, which is very cool. Yep. And so let me ask you this: is getting your work featured or published important to you as a wedding photographer?
Yes, for multiple reasons. It's industry cred with the planners and the other wedding vendors that I'm working with. Clients don't necessarily care until they do. So that Southern Living publication came out recently, and a sister of a bride that we are photographing actually this weekend was Googling, can I wear black to a wedding? And is it appropriate? And my name popped up for this. And she works in publication and immediately started calling all of her family, the bride, everyone. And it was this big deal. I got emails from people. So that then raises the bar of their expectation for me and will lead to further referrals down the road and allows them to brag about, oh, well, my wedding photographer has been featured here, here, and here.
No, I would imagine that most photographers would love the idea of being featured somewhere. right? Whether it's a
Oh
magazine
yeah.
or a blog or something. But I would also imagine it's not the easiest thing to do, or everybody would be doing it. So, so what's your secret? How are you going about getting featured or connected with great magazines such as Southern Living and Forbes and those different things?
Yeah, there's a couple different ways to go about that. First and foremost, you need to research the publication that you want to be a part of. Does it make sense for you to submit it there? If you shoot dark and moody images, but they only are publishing light and airy or film photography, they're probably going to say no. It's very rare. So understanding the difference between exclusive versus non-exclusive, these are things that sometimes photographers aren't aware of, that if you put all of your stuff, all your sneak peeks out on social media before you have submitted to like Martha or Brides or any of those, they're less likely to accept those publications because they are exclusive and you've shared it with the world, and now they don't get to be the first ones to share it.
Wow, that's a great point. Great point. So one, knowing the magazine, what type of work that
Yes.
is getting published. Two, making sure you're not putting everything out there, right? So you have a little bit of, so they feel like they're the first to show it.
Yeah.
Right?
There's
And
that mystique.
how do you go about making the connections with the publishers?
Okay. There's a couple ways to do that. There's places like Isle Society that you can join, and they will have publications on there already. They specifically state who they, what they publish, who they're looking for, and specifics like that. And you can submit directly through that. A lot of times, if you're new to publications and you're new to doing that, that really helps kind of handhold the process. And that they're actively looking for things.
I see. Wow, that's a great tip. I know that there may be a few others out there. Is that similar to something called Green Wedding Shoes? Or
Green Wedding Shoes is a part of either Isle Society or Two Bright Lights. I can't remember which. That's
Two
not
Bright
a publication.
Lights is the one that I was thinking. Okay.
Yeah.
So great. So there are services out there that can help you get started.
Correct.
Oh, fantastic. Good. Now I would imagine being in those publications and having that experience helps you when you go network.
Yes.
Right. Do you ever use that to your advantage when you're trying to make new connections?
I never mention it. It's not something that I feel like comes up in a conversation typically. However, I know that couples and clients are seeing that. I know that wedding vendors are seeing that when they're checking out our stuff. You went and looked at our website and saw it. So it's there, but I feel like trying to use that as a bragging point verbally just kind of falls flat.
Yeah. I know that when going to different markets, one of the things that it would be the most important thing to establish is trust in a market,
Yes.
right? And when you're new and there's already people there ahead of you, that trust factor could be a little bit more difficult. Do you have any approach that helps you build that trust with vendors that you're approaching in these new cities?
I find that when you're approaching them, you need to be in brand alignment. You need to know what you're walking into. And that comes down to knowing who your ideal vendor is, not just your ideal client, but your ideal vendor. Who is serving your ideal client? And then being able to connect with them on a human level versus this kind of icky, let me use you as a vehicle to get what I want. That immediately puts up red flags and walls when you're new in the market. And then just simply serving them in a way that isn't self-serving. It's how can I make the industry locally better?
Right. Well, that's fantastic. And in doing all of that, you mentioned something earlier when I talked about being a solopreneur, and you mentioned just how you have software that helps you do those things. And there's a lot that we have to do as business owners.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to take advantage of the tools that we have right on hand. And I know, and one of those tools, as you know, just is 17 Hats, right? And you're a 17 Hats user, correct?
Yep, absolutely.
So in all of this, right, and we talked a little bit about marketing, and you know, we need some constants no matter what changes in the industry. Tell me a little bit about why 17 Hats and how that's helped you. You know, I know that's a big topic, but just a couple of things that kind of just come to you. Where does it help you the most?
I would say that there's several key points for me. When I'm moving a business, I have that almost, it's a mobile office.
Yeah.
So no matter what, we end up, whenever we're on the road, we're getting inquiries, and I have to be able to go ahead and know that workflow is going to go, and that those inquiries are going to get booked. And so that provides that for me. And then kind of circling back to the whole publication thing, we have that in our workflow. So those reminders of things that maybe, you know, photographers forget to do, of submitting for publication, making sure that your vendors get their images, are things that can be automated so that you're providing a better client experience without me pulling my hair out. And so those are kind of the big things that really help.
Awesome. And, you know, it's such a robust tool, and there's so much that can be done. But I think that that's a great point, because we can only remember to do so much, right?
Yes.
I mean, we got to give ourselves a break sometimes. And, you know, using these fantastic tools to set those reminders and those little workflows, and really it's all about controlling the chaos. And a lot of times that chaos is in our own minds.
Yeah.
Right. Well, fantastic. All right. So let me ask you this, just to get to know a little bit about Meredith, the person.
Okay.
Right. I appreciate all the tips. I mean, those are wonderful tips. You know, those are things that I think the people listening right now can go out and use, right? Making those connections with people, especially photographers who are trying to get published. Kind of the way to think about it. I think one of my favorite points is the fact that you gotta be in alignment with the people that you're trying to get published with. Such a good point, and not something that everyone's thinking about, because we know that the styles are very different in the world of photography. And so, but thank you for that. Right. So just to know Meredith a little bit, and if you were to, or if someone were to write a book about Meredith,
oh, geez.
Okay, 10 years from now,
okay,
what would you hope that they would write about?
Oh,
I know I threw this one on you.
That's not fair. That one came out of left field.
That's a big one. That's a big one.
That's kind of hard in some ways, because I feel like there's a good friend of mine that's an author, and she's written a very similar book. I would hope that it would be that I was able to serve the communities that I went to, that was the story, versus we always talk about, as you and I are both educators and speakers, we talk about, you know, speaking to big crowds or small crowds or one person. And it's that one person that matters. It's that one moment that changes somebody else's life. And so I think that's where I would hope it would be.
Yeah, that's such a good point, right? And it's just in, you know, what can we do for the one?
Yeah.
And there is a domino effect in this world. You know, there's a lot of power in one, just like we are solopreneurs, and there's so much we can do, right? Just on our own, with the right tools, with the right people, which is what we talked about today, right? Is there anything else I should know about you that I didn't know to ask?
Oh, geez. I I don't know. A lot of people don't know that I love to garden.
Ooh,
When I have time, I make my own jam. So if you're near me at Christmas time, you're getting jam for Christmas.
nice. What type of
There's
jam? Your favorite?
strawberry.
Nice. Well, I
Strawberry.
just used that this morning, so
Nice.
fantastic. Well,
Yeah.
very cool. So you're an avid gardener.
I am. Most of the time, things do not go well, but I try.
Why my plants here are fake. Those never let me down. A little good dusting and we're good to go.
Yeah, this one's about the only thing I can handle indoors.
Yeah.
So
My mom is a incredible gardener, and you drive up to their house and I'm like, Mom, why is there a papaya tree in the front yard? Yeah, it doesn't matter. They grow everywhere, right? So she's all about it. Well, thank you so much, Meredith. It was an absolute pleasure to talk to you, and I think talking about the marketing a little bit and talking about the publications, I know it's going to help quite a bit.
good.
And so welcome, and hopefully we can do this again.
Yes.
Right. And thank you for being a 17 Hats user. I know it's a wonderful tool. And for those of you watching this for the first time, please do like and subscribe to the 17 Hats channel. We'll be back with many more videos just like this, featuring businesses of one and how we can help you also be more efficient and productive in your business. And thank you again, Meredith. And we will see you guys next time.